Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Open Mic Comedy Podcast. I'm your host, Marc. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning visitor, welcome back. Today's episode is a little bit of a special one. It's a one-off about two fellas that are creating a show in Brighton at the Brighton Fringe in 2024. So with me today, I've got a man that looks like says he's a little bit scruffy, and a man that thinks his dogs could be a little bit racist. So who knows what this show could involve. So please welcome to the stage, Marc, Vincent and Pete Kinsella.
Hello.
Hello, guys. How you both doing?
Tired.
Oh, yeah. All right, considering, I'd say. Yeah.
So which one of you wants to give us the background on the show then?
Don't know, Marc. Do you want to?
Well, I can start with my bit. I mean, it's a show of two halves, distinct halves. Mine is about my generally dysfunctional life, my generally dysfunctional physicality, and miscellaneous weird things that happen in my life. Not much more I can say about it, really. It's a general sort of warning to others. I'm assuming most of the people in the audience will be younger than me, and a few dire warnings about what's going in time to happen to these people.
A bit of a TED talk about life and growing up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about growing up.
So, Pete, you originally, when I spoke to you on the previous podcast you were on, you mentioned that you were doing a similar kind of split bill show previously, earlier in the year. But
That's
now
right,
you have a different partner with you.
Yes. Yeah. So I did. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was going to say. So, how did the first effort go?
It was difficult, actually. It was a tricky one. I don't know. Marc was there, actually. Marc came to look at it.
Yeah.
I got in a fight with the guy in the second row, which didn't help. Shortly after I started, I don't know what his problem was. Not a physical fight. Yeah, I upset him somehow. I don't know what it was. Yeah, so it was a tricky one, but it was a good experience. A bit of a longer set and just maybe think about the structure of it more, a little bit more. So it was.
So it didn't put you off.
Well, it did for a couple of days, and then it's. I mean, comedians are just a bit stupid, aren't we? We forget. It's like getting tattooed. You're like, fuck me, that hurts, and then I'm never doing that again. And then like a day later, you're going, oh, I might do that again.
Yeah.
No, I was in the audience at the Leicester show, and yeah, that guy in the second row got upset because at one point Pete suggests that there's such a thing as a corrupt copper, and this guy clearly thinks there isn't. So,
do you think it was definitely that?
It seemed to be that sparked it. Yes.
I don't know, mate. Fuck him then, anyway.
Oh dear. So what's your half about then, Pete?
Well, it's about how much I hate the police. No, it's well, I suppose. I mean, to be a bit wanky, I suppose, but I read the questions this time, so I've thought about it. I suppose essentially it's about perceptions, people's perceptions, and in general, and then maybe more specifically, it's a look at sort of how ridiculous views of like what being a man is in
right
2024. You know, the more the fucking ridiculous end of what being a man. You know, the Andrew Tate type cunts.
Okay,
I had to throw that in there for Matt Lowe's. Matt Lowe's said he listened to my last podcast and he said I was the first person to say the C word, and he really liked it. So I thought I'd chuck it in again, Matt, for you. I didn't do it on purpose. I did then, but yeah. So a ridiculous look at this, like the masculinity and what that is, and I hope. Well, I don't know. I've cut a lot out, so it probably doesn't make sense now. this is the thing. It's I do want to make it into an hour, maybe even a bit longer. So ideas of sort of come and go, and they get. Do you know what I mean? To fit it into like 25, 30 minutes. But anyway, so yeah, to have a look at it and I ridicule it, but then also sort of go, well, you know, maybe with a bit of sympathy to what are essentially victims of, you know, like this ridiculous cult.
Yes.
You know, not blaming, you know, don't blame teenage boys and small-minded men, although I obviously hold them accountable for any actions, obviously. But yeah, look at the people sort of creating this fucking toxic environment more. You know, they're the anyway. So that's a bit of a laugh, isn't it?
So there are some jokes along the way, I hope.
Yeah, a couple. There was one at the beginning and then one about 3/4 of the way through.
Brilliant. So, how did you two decide to get together to do this together then?
Facebook.
Yeah. I remember Pete just put out a call saying, "Does anybody want to do the other half of an hour?"
Yeah.
And I thought about it long and hard after I said yes. And I've been in a blind panic ever since.
I thought me and Marc would be a good pairing. I think, you know, we're sort of similar enough that we make, you know, we sort of visually, as you know, look like maybe a bit of a team. In fact, I was thinking last night, I wish we'd called it like same barber, different something. I don't know, but
different heads.
Yeah, something like that. But different enough in sort of style and content that, you know, it wasn't going to be the same.
I think by the sound of it, different trajectories as well. I mean, my aim is to do an hour as well as Pete, and I think where Pete has got his themes running through it quite strongly. I've sort of more or less done the gags and and the threads of sense making are to be added really for the when I complete the hour. So the shows are in different places really.
Okay. So which venue in Brighton is it taking place at?
Yeah, the Temple Bar. I'm not sure if it's one of the more traditional venues, because I mention it to people who've been doing the Fringe for a few years, and not everyone knows where it is. But it's on towards the Hove end. And I did have an address for it, but naturally I haven't come prepared. So I 121 Western Road.
121 Western.
So it's
So what dates is it happening then?
It's Monday the 13th to Wednesday the 15th.
Okay.
Of May. At 7:15. So we're hoping, time slot. Yeah, we should get a few oiled up students by then.
Oiled up students.
Yeah.
Or are you going to throw oil at them as they walk in?
Maybe.
So have you been doing much prep for this then, in terms of work in progress shows and things like that?
Yeah, well, we actually did one last night, which is why we're in such a bleary state this morning. Yeah, we did a full rehearsal last night with an invited audience.
Okay.
And yeah, well, that seemed to go fine. One of us, Pete was rolling through his 30 minutes without a glitch, and I was leaning over and looking at notes quite often, and
that's what it's work in progress
we got
for.
through it. Well, the audience was responding. I mean, there were laughs most of the time.
Good.
Which means whatever happens in Brighton, somebody has laughed at our stuff.
So if you from last night then, if you looked at, I guess it's probably too early to look at what you've done so far and thought, no, not that now. I'll take that bit out. That didn't really work.
Yeah. No, well, I thought Pete was very slick last night, and he rolled through 30 minutes of material.
Yeah.
Which takes the pressure off me, obviously, because if he's doing 30, that means I could do about 15. No, I'm going to do longer than that. I did about 25, but as I say, the themes need to come out a bit stronger for the hour.
Yeah.
At the moment, I've got what amount to a series of set pieces and anecdotal gags.
Yeah.
And well, there are themes there, but sort of swimming around in amongst more gratuitous laugh-grabbing stuff. So
like
yeah, working on structure for longer term. But,
yeah. So ticket price wise, is there a ticket price?
No, it's one of these ones where people can come in for free.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if they like it, they'll give us a wee donation at the end.
Okay.
Obviously, we'd rather the room was full. So if we do get penniless students at the end of a grueling academic year,
yeah,
and they can't afford to give anything, I mean, just the fact that they're there is fine. And if people can afford, then great.
Yeah. So do they have to reserve tickets, or is it literally just a case of just turning up?
Well, I think you can reserve tickets in advance. And obviously, if somebody's got a particular night earmarked, then there's an element of gamble, but I would suggest not a very big one.
No.
I think the room holds 50, and we'll find room for everybody, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, once the 50's there, then people might have to stand at the back or peer through a window or something. But
yeah.
I mean, people can rock up casually, I'm sure.
So what are the social links then that people can find you both on?
Well, we're both on Instagram. Pete has a rather complicated Instagram handle, and I think it's something like Kinsella Creative Outlets, but he'll let you know.
Yeah.
Mine is simple enough. It's just Marc Vincent Comedy.
Okay.
And you can come and enjoy the 0 videos that I've prepared.
Yeah, I'm still. I
predate Instagram. I see a lot of my comedian friends on Instagram and making full use of the medium, and it's not something I'm used to doing, and I still need to get my head around that. So you'll just see a few posters, and that's pretty much it for me.
Okay.
I think Pete uses it a bit more.
Yeah. So this is probably going to be the best outlet to try and get some information leading up to it, and
yes,
possibly
sure.
a few clips and here
there's
and there.
Also, I mean, there's I mean, we've linked to the Fringe's own electronic guide.
Yep.
Where they've got all the shows listed, and there's a bit more information there. I've noticed I put rather a lot of stuff in there that I had just cobbled down and assumed I'd be able to edit. So and then found that I couldn't. It's there in its original form, including one desperately unfunny line that I was going to take out. So yeah, by all means read it, but don't judge me on it.
So is this your first kind of longer type set?
Yeah.
Or have you done?
Yes, it's the first time I've done more than a 15.
Okay, so it's quite a leap then.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I find that going around the circuit, I switch the material sometimes when I'm doing these shorter spots. So put all that end to end, and it's comfortably 25.
Yeah.
But I have this thing. I always like to try and pack it with laugh points, and it's obviously the longer the spot you've got, the harder it is to do that.
Yeah.
And obviously when it goes to an hour, then there's going to be some points in it where it's not exactly going to be comedy. It's just theme building. And
yeah.
I've got some ideas for that, but none of them will be terribly visible in Brighton.
I'm sure it's going to be fine. It's going to be a hell of an experience, and I think it's.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it now. As I say, when I did things slightly in the wrong order. I had the idea for the show after I agreed to fill the hour for Pete. That's not the ideal sequence, really, but
no,
it seems to be fine.
But I guess by having doing it as a split bill, it kind of takes a bit of the pressure off.
Yeah, for sure. And as I say, Pete's further into it than me, and he's his material is pretty strong and strongly themed as well, which is excellent.
Okay, cool. Cheers for that. So give us the rundown then. Where is it? When is it? And what times again? Just so we get a little reminder at the end.
Okay, it is in the Temple Bar, which is, I'll repeat the address again. If I can find it again. The Temple Bar is 121 Western Road, Brighton, and it's from Monday the 13th to Wednesday the 15th of May, 7:15. I'm assured, well, I'm just looking at their blurb, and the Temple Bar houses a young and vibrant crowd who know their drink and demand good music. There's a discerning yet warm atmosphere in this contemporary thing. So
you got to turn up with a guitar now. Can't just do jokes.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they're not laughing, we can just sort of do a bit of a cappella and play the spoons or something.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Well, okay. Thank you for taking the time today to let us know about that.
Thank you.
Very best of luck with it. I hope to see lots of pictures and videos on Instagram of the aftermath.
Well, I've got to start using Instagram at some point. I can't play the old fuddy Luddite guy forever. Yeah.
And hopefully, you'll get a few good reviews. Good reviews out there. Good few stars.
All being well,
like
yeah.
Okay. Cheers, Mark, and I'll say cheers, Pete, even though he's disappeared.
Even though he's vanished.
A peek behind the curtain there. Pete's connection has gone. So until next time, everybody, I'll speak to you all very much soon.